Yo, what is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the featherweight fight between Bill Algeo and Spike Carlyle. Now this fight, as I said, is a featherweight fight. Bill Algeo 13-5, Spike Carlyle 9-2. Bill Algeo is actually the underdog in this fight at plus 145 for the slight underdog. Spike Carlyle, the slight favorite to win this fight at minus 165. They're both similar ages. Bill Algeo is 31 and a half years old. Spike Carlyle, 27 and a half years old. So not much of an age advantage for either fighter in this fight. Bill Algeo definitely has the height and reach advantage, as he is currently 6 foot tall and has a 73 and a half inch reach, while Spike Carlyle is a little bit smaller at 5 foot 8 inches tall, 4 inches smaller, and has a 71 inch reach, which is 2.5 inches smaller. Alright, so as I said at the beginning of the video, Spike Carlyle is currently the favorite to win this fight. He is currently a top 100 featherweight, so is Bill Algeo. And if you look at those Tapology predictions for this featherweight bout, out of 786 votes, which is a pretty good sample size, I have to say, 80% of the votes are going for Spike Carlyle to win this fight. A lot of people think he's going to win the fight by knockout. Some people think he's going to win the fight by decision. And those are pretty fair examples. He gets a lot of knockouts in his fights. Sometimes this fight goes to decision. I really doubt he's going to get a submission in this fight. 20% of the votes are going for Bill Algeo, and then mainly by unanimous decision. He doesn't have the best power. He can definitely clip you at times, but I don't think he'll get a knockout in this fight. So basically, what I take away from that is the way that Bill Algeo would win this fight is by unanimous decision, and the way Spike Carlyle will win this fight mainly is going to be by unanimous decision, but he could definitely use his knockout power to get a knockout in the first or second round of this fight. Alright, so as I said, Bill Algeo 13-5. I mean, this guy started his career back in 2014. Got a first round arm triangle choke submission, lost his next fight to Dean Lavin by first round armbar, came back with a second round rear naked choke submission, a second round rear naked choke submission, and guess what? Another second round rear naked choke submission, 3 of those in a row inside the CFFC, and they just kept on winning with a third round knockout over Joel Roberts and a first round rear naked choke submission over Mike Pope. Now after that, he was on a 5-fight win streak, and he was 6-1 at the time, and that's where he ended up fighting a top 15 featherweight in the world in Shane Burgos, but ended up getting his second loss ever by second round rear naked choke submission. After that loss to a top 15 featherweight in the world, he came back with 2 unanimous decisions in a row, but in his next fight ended up getting a little bit of a step up in competition, as in his next fight he ended up fighting a top 50 featherweight in the world in Jared Flash Gordon, but ended up losing that fight by unanimous decision. Came back after that loss with a second round knockout over Tim Dooling, a unanimous decision over James Gonzalez, a second round head kick at KO over Scott Heckman, and a second round rear naked choke submission over John DeJesus, which got him a shot on Dana White's Contender Series, where in the fight he ended up fighting Brendan Lunane, but ended up losing the fight by unanimous decision and was not granted a shot inside the UFC. So he went back to CFFC, where he had one more fight against Tim Dooling, which he ended up winning by unanimous decision, and the UFC was like, alright, Ricardo Lamas, I believe, was supposed to be fighting, what was the guy's name, Ryan Hall, but that fight ended up falling through. So Bill Algeo ended up stepping in on short notice, and it was a very, very interesting fight, I have to say. He looked really, really good against a veteran fighter like Ricardo Lamas, but sadly, he did end up losing the fight by unanimous decision. He really got beat up in that fight. His face was really, really swollen. He had cuts all over it. He did really good against a veteran fighter in Ricardo Lamas, almost won that fight. I believe he got one of those rounds against Ricardo Lamas, but now he's going to be taking on Spike Carlyle just 3 months after that last loss to Ricardo Lamas. Alright, now let's take a look at his opponent, Spike Carlyle. Alright, so, I mean, Spike Carlyle, he ended up becoming an amateur pro MMA fighter back in 2011. It just didn't really seem like he was taking it all that seriously. He won his first amateur fight by unanimous decision, lost a unanimous decision, lost another unanimous decision, got a first round submission, lost a split decision, came back with a unanimous decision, second round submission, lost a unanimous decision, came back with a very close split decision, and then got 2 first round submissions in a row, lost a unanimous decision, and that was back in 2016, and that's actually where I think he really got serious with MMA, as in his next 2 fights, he did really, really well. He got 2 third round submissions to end off his amateur career, and that's where he ended up becoming a pro back in 2017. And he looked really, really good, as he ended up getting a first-round armbar over Callum Highland, a unanimous decision, a first-round TKO win over James Wells, a first-round rear naked choke submission over Joseph Rodriguez, and then he ended up fighting Sarab Muncion, who he ended up losing to by split decision. I really don't think he lost that fight. It was a very close fight, but I definitely think Spike Carlyle ended up winning that one. But the judges thought differently, obviously, as he lost the fight by split decision. Came back after that loss with a second-round rear naked choke submission over Brian De La Rosario. And then just got another win by unanimous decision, getting him a shot inside the LFA, where he got 2 first-round knockouts, getting him a shot inside the UFC. Where in his first fight with the promotion, got a first-round TKO win over Elon Cruz. And in his next fight, it was really, really weird. The first and third round, I think, were split 1-1. I believe Spike Carlyle got that first round. I don't really think he got that third round. Billy Quarantillo probably got that third round. So it really all came down to that second round. Whoever won that second round was gonna come home a UFC winner. And to be honest, it really looked like Spike Carlyle was about to win that second round. But literally, I think with about 10 seconds left in the round, he made a huge mistake. You know how they do the clapping thing with those 2 little sticks to motion that it's like 10 seconds left in the round? Spike Carlyle seemed to think that those little claps were the end of the round. He just stood there after he heard those claps and started walking away. Billy Quarantillo was like, what is happening? Throws a big right hand, knocks Spike Carlyle down, and that's really what got Billy Quarantillo that round. If that didn't happen, I really think Spike Carlyle would have won that fight. But yeah, he ended up losing the fight by unanimous decision. Alright, so with all that being said, technically, in my opinion, Spike Carlyle should be 2-0 if he just didn't listen to those little claps and think they were a bell. Bill Algeo is 0-1 inside the UFC. He did really, really good in that fight against Ricardo Lamas. But Spike Carlyle, I think, is going to go out there and try to get a knockout in this fight. He has really good grappling as well. He could definitely get a submission on you. Get a rear naked choke and an armbar. Just grab your back and go for some submissions. But I really think this fight's going to stay on the feet. It's going to be a good one. Bill Algeo is definitely going to be using that reach and height advantage in this fight to get a unanimous decision win over Spike Carlyle. Spike Carlyle is going to go out there and try to get a knockout over Bill Algeo. But I think all that's going to do is hurt Bill Algeo a couple times in this fight, but not enough to actually take him out of the fight. So that's my prediction. I have Spike Carlyle winning this fight by unanimous decision. Alright, if you guys agree, or even if you disagree, I don't really care. Put your prediction in the comment section below. In a couple of days, I think I'm going to be doing a parlay on Friday. I'm going to do a parlay video. I'm going to be looking through the betting odds for this whole fight card. So if you guys don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like this video. It's been a very, very fun video. If we can hit 1,500 subscribers by Thanksgiving, I will be doing a face reveal. It should be absolutely insane. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's been a fun video. I'm out of here.